Hello everyone, I am 4slime and welcome to my color grading tutorial. In this video what I want to demonstrate is overexposure, underexposure, and getting your settings right so that your post-production color grader can get a better use out of your video. So what I want to show is that you need to use the right ISO and the right shutter speed along and combined with the right aperture so that you can get a better effect in post-production. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you don't overexpose by having your shutter speed too low. Now this won't overexpose, this will just make my image bright, but you can see there is a tiny red amount on there. That means there is overexposure. So if I bring back my shutter speed to 60, it goes fine. Now the other thing is underexposure. This means your shutter speed is too high for your current scene. And this is not good either. You can fix underexposure more than you can fix overexposure. If you have an overexposed image, I highly recommend you go out and shoot that scene again. Now my ISO is 400 because that means when I'm filming in a dark area I can use 400 or 800 if I really have to, but I can go down to 200 and 100 in a brighter area. I'm using Magic Lantern for this video so that I can demonstrate to you overexposure. You cannot fix that. The sky is currently bright white, and I can demonstrate that by pressing the info button. Give me a sec. I missed the info button. There it is there. So you can see there, it is white, and you can't work with that. But back to this scene, and you're all good. Hello, I'm 4slime and welcome to my color grading tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to go over the basics of color correction and what it can do and bring to your film. So what you want to do is you want to import your media, and this is just some footage I recorded outside, and you want to drag it into your timeline. So let me just get rid of the audio and let's trim that down. There you go. So this is just the footage here. As you can see, the color is flat. You could say it's flat, and it is flat. So what you want to do is you want to go to Effects, and then Video Effects, then Color Correction, and usually you'll bring brightness and contrast up first, but I like to do my correction or grading first and then bring in some brightness and contrast. So for this scene I want a warm yellowy summer color. So what I'll do is I'll drag the center circle of my shadows up to an orangey yellow. And as you can see, when I drag this around, it'll change all the darker parts of my image. So you can see where the shadows are on my eyes and behind the trees and the shadow of the drainage pipe. So I'll bring this up, but I don't want it to be too harsh so that it's super noticeable. And then I'll do the same with the midtones, and I'll bring those up. Midtones effect, or the midtone color correction, changes almost every single color in your scene. As you can see, I change this, everything changes except for shadows. So let's bring that up, and I want that to be a bit more noticeable because that's where most of our colors are. Now if I go to a part where I'm looking in the sky, this is where highlights come in. As you can see, my face is white on my forehead. If I change my highlights up, you can immediately see a difference in the color. So if you have a purple light coming out of the sky, this is definitely what you want to do. Just make sure that when you are lighting your scene, that you light it with a light shining on your actor's face. So I'm also going to bring this up to yellow, but I don't want it to be very noticeable because it has a major effect on all the overexposures or white parts of your scene. So as you can see, even with just the three-way color corrector, we've made a massive difference to the scene. The colors aren't as dull anymore and everything fits together nicely. So next what you want to do is you want to bring brightness and contrast into your scene. I usually don't use brightness on these kinds of scenes unless my scene is too dark. Otherwise, brightness washes out your image. So I'm going to set that to 0 and my contrast to about 20 because the contrast will bring in a nice contrast between each of your colors. Now with brightness, you don't want to bring that up too much or else, as I said, it washes out your scene. It also fights against your contrast. 11 looks good for the scene, but I'm going to keep it down at 0 just to have a nice contrast between my background and my actor, which is me. So once you've done that, then you want to go up to sharpness. Now this is just a personal thing that I do, because I film on 0 sharpness on my 600D. So when I find blur and sharpen, there it is, I'm going to drag sharpness onto the footage. Now before I start doing this, I'm going to zoom in and bring you to my hair. What sharpness will do is it'll sharpen your entire image. It'll define each individual line, but you don't want to sharpen it up this much. Let's do a nice 1337. What this will do is this will wreck your image, and it'll highlight every single line and grainy part of your image, and you don't want this. So what I do is I just go with a nice flat 20, because I find that works best. It adds a little bit of sharpness, but it doesn't over sharpen. So as you can see, this is before and this is after, and this works really well with this kind of scene, in my opinion. Next, we're going to do another scene that I have. So this is a scene where I use a follow focus with magic lantern in my camera. So let's just get rid of the audio, because the clicking of my lens is terribly annoying. So let's cut the part off this. And as you can see, this scene here was lit reasonably well with the sun, but you can definitely see some overexposure in the background. So we can't fix this, but what we can do is we can use it as color. So you want to go back into color correction and scroll all the way down, 3-way color corrector, and drag that onto your clip. And then for this, I want a brownish effect as well. So let's drag this more to the brown, but not too much, because this scene needs to have brown, but not overdone. So let's bring this up. Let's get that like that. Let's get part of the tree in focus. There you go. So as you can see, even already with just shadows, this definitely brings out more of the tree. Just this again. Big difference. Now let's go up to brightness and contrast. Bring this in. Let's darken the image a bit, because we've got overexposure. And the saturation in this can't be overdone, because we have a very dark, oh not saturation, sorry, contrast. We have a very dark image already with the bark. So what you can do is you can wash this image out. It gives it a great effect, and this would work really well to bring the audience into thinking that you've got film. You're filming on film. So if you add film noise to that, that'd be great. So that sounds like I'm saying, if you add film grain to that, that'd be great. Nah, but it'd actually make the image look really good. So this was unexpected, but yeah, wash this kind of thing out. It looks cool. Brightness and contrast, and then let's bring in some sharpness. So let's sharpen the already unsharped bark. Not too much. Let's go about 20 again, maybe 15. 20 looks like a bit much. And there you go. This is our footage now. Follow focus and all.